Greetings, it's Eagle 1023 here once again. It is Saturday, October 8th, 2011. It's about 1:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time coming to you from Tampa, Florida. This video is a follow-up to a video I put together this morning. It was entitled The Awakening Has Begun. And the reason why I put this together is because I'd received several responses, but one really stands out, and it's from a gentleman named Michael from Canada. His channel name is Meadman718, and I've got to tell you, he took a lot of time to respond, and I really appreciate that. And so if you'd permit me, what I'd like to do is read what he has to offer, and this is specifically for those that are involved in the organization. You guys, if you have a chance, check this out. He offers some really, really good advice. And let me go ahead and read this, and then I'll offer my thoughts after I've finished. It says, in point 1, it's 7 points, by the way. Occupy Wall Street, the theory. Really simple. Occupy Wall Street is an open source protest. This type of protest has been very effective over the last year in toppling regimes in north of Africa. It's proving relatively successful in the U.S. too. Open source protest is an organizational technique. Probably the only organizational technique that can assemble a massive crowd in today's multiplexed environment. Point 2. Essential rules of open source protest include A promise, a simple goal idea that nearly everyone can get behind. Adbusters did pretty good with Occupy Wall Street. Why? Nearly everyone hates the pervasive corruption of banks and Wall Street. It's an easy target. B. A plausible promise. Prove that the promise can work. They did. They actually occupied Wall Street and set up camp. They then got the message out. Point 3, section C, a big tent and an open invitation. It doesn't matter what your reason for protesting is, as long as you hate or dislike Wall Street practices. The big tent is already in place. Notice the diversity of the signage? Saw something similar from the Tea Party before it was mainstreamed, diminished. And then part D, let everyone innovate. Don't create a leadership group. The General Assembly approach appears to work. Agreed. Support anyone in a leadership role that either A, grows the movement, or 2, advances the movement closer to its goal. Ignore anybody that proposes a larger, more complex agenda or those that claim ownership over the movement. F, if a new technique works, document it, use it again, and share it with everyone else. Copy everything that works. G, spread the word of the movement as widely as possible. Section 5, that's the gist of it. What's the real goal of this protest? Frankly, it's probably a recognition that the center of power in the United States doesn't reside in Washington anymore. It's on Wall Street. This protest dispenses with the middlemen, the U.S. government, and goes straight after the real power. My guess is that the Adbuster team that launched this open source protest felt that an October financial meltdown was possible, hence the September start date. 6. If the meltdown does occur, this movement is going to go global, just at the moment when the banks are going to be at their most vulnerable. Regardless, this effort is going to set the groundwork for a fast launch in the future when the next financial meltdown occurs. What's the big picture? Global guerrillas are getting better at building open source protests. We're going to see more, and they are likely to become a prominent feature of the geopolitical landscape. 7, the final part. It will also be interesting to see if open source protests could end up taking down a too big to fail bank, i.e. Goldman, or a U.S. president in the next 5 years. That would be very cool to see. This is, well thought out. Now, I may not agree with taking down the president, but I do agree with you that, he needs to step up to the plate and do what he promised to do. The leadership is action, not position, Mr. President, and it's time that you follow through on some of your campaign pledges. And maybe your Justice Department being a little less Bush Light would go a long way. There are crooks up in Wall Street, and it's time for your Justice Department to intervene, to act on behalf of the American people. And they've been pretty silent thus far. Now, maybe there are investigations going on that we're not aware of, but it's time to act, Mr. President, and it's time to get your Attorney General to step up. So this is really well thought out, Mike, and I really do appreciate you putting this much time and effort into your response for the video. And again, those of you that are involved in the organized movement, the protest movement, check it out. There's some really good points here. And hell, print it out if you feel like it. I'm going to provide Mike's channel name in my description part of my video, and it's kind of funny. I really didn't expect this because a couple of weeks ago I had posted a bulletin on YouTube, wherein I said it was really short. I said, let the censorship again. And lo and behold, Mike responded to my channel in the comments section, and he starts, let the censorship again. And he says, I'll tell you what. He kind of really goes off, and he expresses himself, his frustration. And I could feel the energy of his frustration. I couldn't agree more. He's distraught that so many people have just sat on their hands, and that there's just so much corruption and so much negativity, and he just wants to get away. And let me tell you, I join you, man. But this is an awakening, and I got to tell you, it looks like people are waking up and they're ready to take responsibility for their lives. Mike also said in his comment that there's no one coming to save us. We're going to have to save ourselves. We're going to have to deal with this. And I couldn't agree more. You made a point about the Tea Party in your comments here, and the Tea Party started out as a ground force, a movement that had intent. And what happened was the Fixed News Channel decided to co-opt it, and they started sponsoring it. They had their reporters there, the same channel that says that they don't want the reporters at the Occupy Wall Street events because this is just a bunch of hippies. They actually pushed the Tea Party movement. The Republican Network channel did. And they and their corporate friends actually sponsored all of those candidates that ran in the 2010 elections. They pumped tens of millions of dollars into those campaigns to get their chosen ones elected. And it worked. It worked because the Democrats were frustrated. There was a lot of apathy. The unemployment rate was still high. Things weren't going well. So, the problem with the Tea Party is they got co-opted. And that's what we don't want to see with the Occupy Wall Street movement and the other city movements. So I couldn't agree with you more. It is a big tent. They don't need to have leadership, 2-3 members, including the unions. God bless the unions, but you don't need that. And, hey, I noticed this too, Mike. Up in Canada, there are some protests taking place as well. Toronto's got a big one scheduled, from what I understand, and other cities. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing to see. And it'll be interesting to see how the elections in Ontario turn out. Are you going to go, more to the right or more to the left, and more of the People's Party or more of the corporate party? So I'm going to be watching that because I'm just curious. Anyway, thanks for listening. And again, thanks, Mike, for responding. And I hope people catch the gist of what he's offered. It makes a lot of sense. So anyway, this is Eagle 1023 signing out. Namaste. I love you all, guys. Bye.